Chosen one, this message has found you in silence for a reason, not by accident, not by chance. This is divine timing at work. You didn't stumble upon this. You were guided here, because something deep within you is already rising, quietly, powerfully. And though the world may not see it yet, they can feel it. Your energy is shifting. Your spirit is awakening. And this is your confirmation. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't need to post every win, respond to every doubt, or prove anything to anyone. Because when you're truly rising, when you're stepping into the purpose God placed in you, the world can feel it, not see it. Feel it. There's something unexplainable about a chosen one's rise. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's not always visible, but it's powerful. The people around you may not know what's happening, but they can sense the shift. They feel the change in your energy, your silence, your detachment, your focus, and it unsettles them. This is your rise, quiet, holy, strategic, and unstoppable. Let's break this down into 7 chapters to understand why your silent rise speaks louder than any words ever could. Before we dive deeper into this journey, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, because this message is for every chosen one who's ready to embrace their divine calling. If you feel the resonance of this message stirring something within you, drop the number 77 in the comments. This isn't just a number, it's a powerful signal to the universe, affirming that you're aligned with your divine purpose and ready to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Only those who are truly chosen will stay until the end. And by doing so, you'll unlock deeper wisdom, sharpen your spiritual awareness, and claim the blessings that have been hidden just for you. Remember, this knowledge unfolds layer by layer. Revisit this message whenever you feel called. For each time you return, you'll discover something new, something essential that you may have missed before. Your awakening is unfolding. With every moment, you embrace it. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The power of moving in silence. The world we live in thrives on noise, constant updates, loud opinions, attention-seeking posts, and a never-ending race to be seen, heard, and validated. Every move, every thought, every emotion is broadcasted. People chase clout more than clarity. They want eyes on them even before their foundation is solid. But you're different. You've been pulled into a different path, one that's quiet, one that's sacred, one that's often misunderstood. You've realized that real growth doesn't need an audience. In fact, it thrives without one. The chosen ones are called to rise differently. Your elevation isn't for show, it's for purpose. While the world claps for people who move fast and loud, your steps are slow, intentional, and hidden. Not because you're behind, but because you're being refined. Think about a seed. Before it ever breaks the surface, it's buried in darkness, covered in dirt, unseen, uncelebrated. But deep beneath the surface, life is happening. Roots are forming. A system is being built to hold what's coming. That seed doesn't need attention, it needs time. And so do you. Your silence isn't emptiness. It's incubation. It's strategy. It's divine protection. Because when you move in silence, you remove distractions. You protect your vision from premature exposure. You give God space to build in you what cannot be built in the spotlight. People may assume you're not doing much, that you've disappeared, that you're stuck. Let them. Their assumptions are based on visibility, not spiritual reality. What they can't see is what matters most. Your healing, your strength, your inner transformation. That's what's real. And silence protects that. Silence removes the pressure to perform. It keeps your intentions pure. It gives you time to listen to your spirit without the noise of the crowd confusing your path. You're not moving in silence because you're hiding. You're moving in silence because you're honoring the sacred process of becoming. Sometimes, when you're silent, people assume you're weak. But the truth is, you're wise. You've learned that loud moves attract loud opposition. But silent growth? That's what catches the enemy off guard. They can't attack what they can't detect. They can't stop what they can't see coming. When you move in silence, you're not shrinking, you're building. You're creating momentum behind closed doors. And when it finally reveals itself, it doesn't trickle out. It roars. Not because it was rushed, but because it was rooted. Silence gives your spirit room to breathe. It's where the noise of fear is silenced by the voice of purpose. It's where God whispers the next step. And that's why it's so powerful. Because the loudest moves you'll ever make won't be heard. They'll be felt. While others seek validation, you've chosen alignment. You're not desperate to be noticed. You're determined to be ready. You don't need applause. You need anointing. And that's what you're walking in now. So embrace your quiet season. Stay hidden until it's time. Let the silence sharpen you, ground you, prepare you. Because when you finally emerge, it won't be for attention. It will be for impact. And when that moment comes, they won't remember your silence. They'll feel your presence. Chapter 2. Energy doesn't lie. You don't have to say a word for people to know something is changing in you. Your energy speaks before your mouth does. Your presence carries a weight it didn't before. It's not arrogance, it's not attitude, it's alignment, it's peace, and it's power. You've stopped reacting the way you used to. You no longer explain yourself to be understood. You don't argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't chase closure. You don't chase approval. You've outgrown that. Your silence is no longer insecurity. It's wisdom, and people feel it. Whether they admit it or not, they notice. That calm in your voice, that clarity in your eyes, that quiet confidence in how you carry yourself. It says everything. It says, I've been through the fire, I've faced the storm, and I'm still standing. They feel the distance you've created, the boundaries you've built, the self-respect that now surrounds you like armor, and it unsettles them, especially those who benefited from your brokenness. Because the old version of you, that version was easier to manipulate, easier to drain, easier to predict. But that version no longer exists. Now, you're unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. Not because you're unstable, but because you're no longer performing. You're no longer available to chaos. You've reclaimed your time, your energy, your soul. You've realized that not everything deserves a response. Not everyone deserves access. And that shift is spiritual. Your energy now says, I'm healing. I'm growing. I'm no longer accessible to what wounded me. I am protecting my peace at all costs. That glow people see in you, it's not about your appearance. It's the reflection of all the battles you've overcome. It's the strength of someone who chose to keep going, even when no one clapped. That's a light no one can fake, and no one can dim. Yes, it makes people uncomfortable, especially those who were attached to the version of you that didn't know your worth. You see, when you stop begging to be chosen and start walking like you're already enough, it intimidates people who only knew you when you were unsure of yourself. But this isn't about them. This is about you stepping into your power. Your new energy filters out anything that doesn't align with your higher self. You don't even have to cut people off anymore. Your frequency does it for you. It's spiritual self-defense. Your energy now acts as a mirror, It reflects truth, and some people can't handle what they see in it. That's not your problem. You weren't called to stay the same, to make others feel safe. This is growth. This is transformation. This is the quiet fire of someone rising. And even if you never say a word, they'll feel it every time you walk in the room. Because chosen ones don't need to announce their rise. Their energy does it for them. Chapter 3. The shift that can't be ignored. Even when you say nothing, people start acting different. They sense it, even if they can't explain it. The elevation, the calm, the strength in your silence. There's something different about how you carry yourself now. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. It's not pride, it's power. You don't even speak about your next move, but they feel it in the way you no longer flinch at things that used to shake you. You walk lighter, but your presence is heavier. There's clarity in your steps, purpose behind your pace, and peace that isn't performative. It's earned, and that alone is enough to shift the room when you enter. That's when the comments start. You've changed. You don't hit me up anymore. You think you're better now, but what they're really saying, without knowing how to say it, is, I can feel you're not on the same level anymore, and it bothers me. Because people weren't just comfortable with who you were. Some were comfortable with what they could get away with. They were at ease when your boundaries were blurry, when your self-worth was negotiable, when you were available to their chaos. But now, you've shifted, and that shift cannot be ignored. The rise of a chosen one is spiritual. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's undeniable. It's not measured by money, status, or followers. It's measured by how at peace you are with who you're becoming. And the people who used to thrive in your confusion now shrink in your clarity. They'll say you're distant. They'll say you're different. They'll say you're cold. But what they're really feeling is the discomfort of no longer having access to a version of you that made them feel superior. Your humility used to be mistaken for weakness. Your loyalty was mistaken for blindness. And now that you've awakened, the energy has shifted. And so have you. You're no longer apologizing for growing. You're no longer explaining why you need space. You're no longer dimming your light just so others feel secure in their darkness. That season is over. And it's okay if they don't understand that. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing. You don't have to defend your peace. You've simply reached a place where drama doesn't excite you and dysfunction no longer attracts you. And because of that, some people will fall away. Let them. What's meant for you will rise with you, not fight your growth. Your shift is sacred. It's between you and God. And not everyone is meant to walk with you into this new dimension. Some were only assigned to your survival era, not your rising season. And that's not rejection. That's divine protection. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them gossip. You don't need to defend your glow, your consistency, your peace, your progress. That's your response. Because at the end of the day, real ones don't explain their growth. They embody it. And when you rise for real, the world doesn't need an announcement. They feel the shift in your silence. Chapter 4. Isolation was the setup. You had to be pulled away, isolated, separated from everything and everyone you once clung to. And at the time, it felt cruel. It felt confusing, like punishment. You didn't understand why people walked away, why connections faded, why doors shut so suddenly. You questioned what you did wrong, why you felt so alone, why the silence was so loud. But now, with clearer eyes and a stronger spirit, you can see the truth. That isolation wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It was divine strategy. That silence was the cocoon where your transformation began. God didn't remove people to hurt you. He removed them because they couldn't go where you were headed. He had to strip away the noise so you could finally hear him clearly. He needed you still, so he could shape your character, heal your wounds, and sharpen your vision. You weren't being abandoned, you were being aligned. In the moment, it felt like you lost everything, but really, you were being given something greater: clarity, strength, wisdom, discernment. You were being pulled into solitude so you could meet the most important version of yourself, the one who doesn't depend on approval to move forward, the one who doesn't need a crowd to feel whole. While everyone else was chasing attention, you were chasing God. While they were distracted by noise, you were being rebuilt in silence. While they stayed busy performing for the world, you were in the shadows, learning how to carry peace, how to stand in purpose, how to walk with power. That's why your rise is different. It's not built on validation. It's built on vision. It's not about being seen. It's about being sent. And when God sends you, He doesn't need to make an announcement. He makes an impact. Now, you carry something different. A stillness that can't be shaken. A strength that doesn't need to shout. A wisdom that came from weathering storms alone. And people can sense it. They don't know what happened in your isolation, but they can feel the result of it. You're not who you were. And that's exactly the point. Your isolation was sacred. It was the forge where your soul was strengthened, where your identity was refined. What looked like a breakdown was actually a breakthrough. What felt like loss was actually protection. You see, not everyone was equipped to witness your becoming. Some had to be removed so they wouldn't interfere with what God was building in you. Some had to exit because their presence would have delayed your process. You didn't lose them. You outgrew them. Chosen one, the setup was in the separation. The elevation required isolation. And now that you've been hidden and healed, you're ready to walk in authority. Not to prove anything, but to live in alignment with everything you were called to become. The cocoon was never meant to be your prison. It was your preparation. And now, the time has come. Not for noise, but for impact. Not for applause, but for assignment. You're not just rising, you're emerging. Transformed by isolation and ready for purpose. Chapter 5. You don't chase, you attract. You've stopped chasing people. You've stopped running after opportunities. You no longer beg for validation, approval, or attention. That shift in mindset didn't just happen overnight. It was spiritual. It came from healing. It came from heartbreak. It came from realizing your worth doesn't live in someone else's recognition. And once you internalize that, everything changed. Now, things are different. You don't move from desperation. You move from alignment. You're not thirsty for love, success, or acknowledgement. You're aligned with it. And alignment always attracts what's meant for you. Why does everything feel like it's coming to you now? Because your vibration has risen. You've shed the energy of lack. You've stopped forcing, begging, pushing. You've elevated into a space where your energy speaks louder than your words. You've become magnetic, not because you're loud, but because you're clear. Clear on who you are, clear on what you allow, clear on what you deserve. You no longer beg to be chosen. You are the chosen. And there's a confidence in that truth that can't be faked. People feel it. They may not understand it, but they sense something in you that's powerful, calm, untouchable, and it draws them in. Not because you're trying, but because you're being. You're not putting on a mask to be liked. You're not shrinking yourself to be accepted. You're not altering your essence to fit someone else's box. You're walking in truth. You're standing in authenticity. And that, more than anything, is what attracts real blessings. People feel drawn to your peace, your presence, your clarity. They sense your discipline, your boundaries, your emotional maturity. They recognize that you're not reacting. You're responding. You're not seeking. You're embodying. That's rare. That's powerful. And that's why they can't help but pay attention. The irony? The moment you stop trying to be seen is the moment you became unforgettable. The moment you let go of needing to prove anything is the moment you stepped into your most powerful season. This is the silent rise. This is the divine glow-up, when you're no longer performing for attention, but operating from intention. You're not chasing, you're attracting, not because of ego, but because of energy, because you finally realize, when you're whole within, you don't have to run after anything. What's meant for you flows to you. And here's the truth that most people miss. Attraction isn't about being flashy. It's about being rooted. People are magnetized by authenticity because it gives them permission to be themselves. Your presence becomes a mirror for what they haven't yet faced within. That's why some are drawn and others are intimidated. You attract because you've become the kind of person who no longer depends on the world to confirm what God already placed inside you. You attract because your soul is no longer at war with itself. Keep walking in that energy. Keep choosing peace over performance. Keep choosing authenticity over attention. Because when you move like you already are, who you're becoming, the world adjusts to meet you there. Chapter 6. Spiritual eyes can't be fooled. Not everyone can see you, but the ones who matter can feel you. You've probably noticed it lately. The shift in energy when you walk into a room, the tension, the sudden silence, the way certain people give you side eyes or act different for no clear reason. It's not your imagination, it's their spirit reacting to yours. Because energy doesn't lie. You're carrying something now, something spiritual, something sacred. And those operating from a lower frequency can sense it, even if they don't understand it. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to defend your growth. Their confusion is confirmation. Their discomfort is a reflection of the internal war your presence triggers in them. They don't see the new you with their physical eyes, but their spirit feels the upgrade, and it unsettles them. You'll see it in subtle ways: passive-aggressive comments, awkward energy, fake smiles, distant stares. Some people will try to re-enter your life just to study you, not support you. That's why discernment is key now. You're not who you used to be, and not everyone is meant to access this version of you. Even your enemies feel it. The ones who counted you out now feel threatened. The ones who laughed when you were quiet now sense you've been preparing. They didn't understand that your silence wasn't weakness, it was weaponry. It was strategy. It was sacred alignment. You were going inward to rise higher. You were learning, healing, unlearning, and evolving. And now that you've emerged, they don't know how to handle you. They mocked your isolation, but now they envy your transformation. That's the thing about spiritual growth. It's not always visible, but it's always felt. You're carrying authority now. You're walking in divine confidence. You're no longer tolerating what you used to accept. And that shift has spiritual weight. People don't just notice it, they feel it. And some will try to figure out what's different about you. They'll think it's your look, your posture, your success, but it's none of that. It's your energy, It's your discernment, it's your protection. You're walking with God, and that intimidates anyone who once benefited from your brokenness. Your elevation isn't loud, but it's undeniable. You don't have to announce your glow-up. It speaks for itself. When you walk in a room, spirits are stirred. When you speak, truth cuts through the noise. When you move, things shift. That's not ego, that's the presence of someone who's been through the fire and came out refined. Chosen one, spiritual eyes can't be fooled. The right people will recognize your light without you having to dim it. And the wrong ones will reveal themselves when it shines too bright for their comfort. Keep shining. Keep walking in purpose. Don't lower your frequency to make others feel at ease. If they can't handle the new you, they were never meant to walk with you into this next season. Your presence is powerful. Your silence is loud. Your spirit speaks before you even say a word. And those who can see with spiritual eyes, they know exactly who you are. Chapter 7. Your time is sacred now. You no longer waste time on things that don't grow you. You've outgrown meaningless conversations, fake friendships, and empty spaces. If it doesn't nourish your spirit, develop your mind, or align with your purpose, you're gone. Not because you're cold, not because you think you're better, but because you finally know your worth. You've learned that your time is holy, your energy is precious, your calling is not casual. So you've become intentional about how you spend your days, your thoughts, your peace. You no longer move from pressure. You move from purpose. This isn't ego. This is elevation. When you realize who you are, truly are, you stop chasing chaos and start protecting your calm. You stop entertaining distractions disguised as connections. You start treating your time like the sacred offering it is. Because you understand now, not everyone deserves access to your presence, your peace, or your power. And guess what? People feel that shift. They feel when you stop over-explaining yourself. They notice when you no longer respond to disrespect. They feel it when you don't show up where drama is expected. They sense when you're no longer emotionally available for the cycles you've already healed from. Your silence speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. And it shakes people. It shakes those who were comfortable with the version of you who used to overextend, who used to say yes out of guilt, who used to carry relationships that were draining the life out of you. That person doesn't live here anymore, and the boundary you've built around your time now whispers something loud. I know who I am now. You've stepped into a season where you don't need to be everywhere, say everything, or prove anything. Your presence is enough. Your peace is your answer. Your growth is your protection. This is the silent rise. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need to be posted. It doesn't need to be explained. Because the rise is internal before it ever becomes external. It's in your decisions, in your discipline, in your detachment from what no longer serves your spirit. And as you move forward, lighter, clearer, more rooted, people will feel it. Some will honor it. Some will resent it. But none will be able to ignore it. Because when a chosen one understands the value of their time, they become unstoppable. You're no longer reacting. You're creating. No longer surviving. You're thriving. No longer begging. You're attracting. You are no longer in a season of convincing anyone of your worth. You're in the season of protecting it. Your time is sacred. The energy you give is sacred. Every breath you take, every moment you spend, is a gift that should never be taken for granted. You no longer move in desperation. Your steps are measured, deliberate, and sure. You move with the confidence of someone who knows that time spent wisely is the currency of true success. You are building not just for today, but for generations to come. What you create, how you invest in yourself, the spaces you cultivate, it all matters. Every moment spent with intention is a seed planted in fertile ground. This is your time now, sacred, quiet, focused, and deeply powerful. So move like it.